Hi, and welcome to another edition of How Much Coal Hates the Doom and Gloom Media. I'm your host, anyway. In general, would you agree we tend to follow our beliefs? Notice I didn't say truths, but we tend to follow our beliefs. We have to be very careful about what shapes our beliefs. Most of the time, it's what we see or what we hear. And if we're not careful, what we're watching and what we're hearing can shape our beliefs, which will then turn into actions. And we got to be really careful on what we're acting on or why we're acting a certain way. Let's just talk about, the housing market, since that seems to be consuming the headlines. And it doesn't matter if you're watching Fox or CNN or Reuters or your local news, whatever. Everybody's talking about it, and everybody is an expert. Everybody is forecasting. And what I've learned is forecasts tend to tell us a little bit more about the forecaster than the future. Diana Olick has been claiming that the world is going to end, the housing market is going to crash since 2015. Let's just take a look here. And take a look just to the right of that. If you would have listened to her, if she would have shaped your belief and those beliefs turned into actions, and let's say in 2015, you held off on purchasing a home because Diana Olick in Squawk Box said that there's a bubble brewing, it's gonna be bigger than 2006. Well, you would have missed out on 5.1% appreciation that year. $300,000 home would have cost you $315,000. Let's say you held off in 2016 because Diana Olick in Squawk Box said, now we're in a housing bubble. You missed out on another 5.4%. The following year, you missed out on 6.1%, and so on and so on. So I'm not here to say that we're not going to see some kind of a correction in housing. I would like to focus on the facts, on the truths. So I think there's three main keys that we need to look at to really determine what should our next move be. And it really comes down to a personal decision anyway on whether you buy a home or refinance a home or sell a home. But let's talk about three things: inventory, supply, and equity. So first, I'm gonna share this with you. Oh, no, not that. That's just more doom and gloom. Thank you, Fortune magazine. First, let's take a look at inventory. This whole supply and demand thing. That's just simple economics, right? So take a look at this slide. This is the existing home sales inventory. I went way back in the database, way back in the archives. So I've taken the liberty to draw two red lines there. The top red line shows you where the inventory was in 2006, in June of 2006. Almost 4 million homes. And then look at June of 2007. We're almost 4.5 million homes in inventory. Now let's take a step down just a little bit. Let's see where we currently are. Right now, we currently have 1.26 million homes in inventory. That's a far cry from where we were in 2005, 2006, 2007, and even 2008. Now, to take inventory one step further, check out these numbers. Included in that 1.26 million homes in inventory, 641,000 of those are actually under contract. So they're not technically available. So if we remove those, we're at 619,000 homes of active available inventory. Another one, let's take a look at supply. Look at the supply, the top line there is June of 2006. We had almost 7 months of housing supply. 6 months is a balanced market. 7 months tends to lean more towards a buyer's market, which is what we began experiencing back in the crash. So that's June of 2006. You have to go up almost 9 months of inventory in June of 2007. Now look at the line at the bottom there, that blue line. That's where we are right now. June of 2022, we're barely scratching the surface of 3 months of housing supply. Still a seller's market. Might not be this hyper competitive, offers over list price seller's market, but it's still a seller's market nonetheless. Let's take a look at the third component that I wanted to share with you. This shows the percentage of equity in households is darn near 70%. That's as of June of 2022. Look where we were in June of 2006. We're almost at 50% equity. And then June of 2007 starts to dip down even further. So all this to say, we're nowhere near where we were in 06, 07, 09, 2010. It's not that kind of a market that we're in. Here's a quick snapshot just to summarize what we just discussed. Existing home sales report as of this month, June of 2022, or this past month. Median home price, $415,000, up 13% year over year. 1.26 million units of inventory. That equals a 3 months supply. We're at about 14 days on market, which is a record. You take out the homes below, I believe, 200,000, and that drops into the single digits. We're between 7 and 9 days on the market. And current rate as of this past Thursday, according to Freddie Mac, 5.51%, 30-year fixed rate. Let's step backwards and look at this same report in June of 2007. Median home price was $230,000. It was flat compared to the year before. 4.2 million houses in inventory. Quite a bit more than we're at right now. Days on market, I could not find. If anybody has access to that, I would love to know that number. I'm a data nerd. I would love to know that. Interest rate then was 6.66%. Not a cool number. So as you can see, as far as housing, we are nowhere near where we were in 2005, 6, 7, 8. We're a far cry from there. And remember, what you hear on the media, what you read online, nothing is as good or as bad as they make it seem.